Hi everyone. Good evening. Welcome to day two of our HTML and CSS developer class. We kind of did some basic introductions and definitions in our last session. So today, I'm going to continue from where I stopped and look at some basic stuff again. Then confirm and make sure everyone has their VS Code installed and can navigate their way through creating and opening a HTML document, right? So I'm going to be switching through from my documents and the resource I'm going to be using and my code editor, right? So I'll explain a little bit, then I'll get to my code editor. So yeah, I think we can go ahead. So basic overview of HTML and CSS and how they work together, right? I'm going to just talk a little bit about CSS, but we are not going to jump into CSS right away. We need to get done with HTML this week. So basically, I defined HTML yesterday as like a hypertext markup language to use to define how the web is displayed, right? So HTML just handles text and layouts and everything you see, every available thing you see on the web page, right? But there is another language like that works hand in hand with there's another language that works hand in hand with HTML. It's called CSS. The full meaning of this is cascading style sheet. We're going to get into this next week, but I just wanted to point out that HTML handles layout and display of tags and how text and content is displayed on the page. CSS handles styling, the colors and sometimes animations and the nav bar. So just so you know, CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. We're going to be looking at it from maybe Thursday or Monday, but we'll still be doing some deep work on HTML for this week. So we're going to go into HTML elements and tags. So basically, these two are where we'll be spending most of our time. And if you really want to kind of understand HTML, if you're a beginner, you're going to excuse me, if you understand the basics of what an HTML element is, one moment. If you understand the basic of what a HTML element is and what tags are, and maybe just get familiar with all the tags we have, you're going to find your work quite easy, right? So what are HTML elements? Before I go into this, HTML element, it's defined by start tag and subcontent and an end tag, right? So I'm just going to open a document. It still was displayed here. I'm just going to open an image, right? So every line of code or every HTML document consists of an element. An element consists of a start tag, some content in it, and an end tag. So what we have here with angle braces are called tags in HTML. So I said that I made mention of yesterday. We're going to jump to our code editor to try this soon. That tags have an opening tag and a closing tag, just like starts here and ends here. So, but the full line, the opening tag, the closing tag, with the text or the content or whatever it is, can be an image, can be a link, it can be just a plain text. The full tag with the text inside is called an element, but these curly braces and the opening and closing ones are called tags. So basically, what you just need to pick off before we maybe get into practicing, and everyone is going to try out all this today, is that HTML element, when you hear or when you say like an element, it just means like a line of code, like an element, an opening tag, content, and closing tag. Then when you hear about tags, we're talking about the tag, right? So there are many tags. We're going to go into a whole lot. We're going to go into them. There are so many tags, and I just hope like we kind of go through the important ones, but you have to do some reading yourself. So basically, an element, HTML documents are all are made up of elements. So I'll just switch to my VS Code. This is an element. This is a HTML element. These are all elements with start tags and end tags. But the thing is, there are some elements that just have only start tag. So, but we're not going to jump into that now. So just know that these are tags and these are elements. An element consists of the opening tag and the closing tag. The closing tag is signified by a / with the tag name. So we're going to get into what all these tags mean and like how to use them. I already talked about HTML head, but we're going to see more tags today, right? So let's go into tags and maybe how to use tags, HTML tags to like display and align a web page. I'm going to be doing some stuff and we're going to be seeing some stuff in the browser today. So I think the basic tags, like the basic ones you should be you're going to use most of the time are like paragraph tags, heading tags, and some other popular tags. But I'm going to go over them one after the other. So I think we will start with the heading tags. Like I said, HTML it's a markup language, right? So it provides like everything you need to create a web page, right? So you might be creating a web page, you might need to write a header or a little. If you open a Word document, you have options in your editor to kind of use a header, an underline, bullet points. HTML provides room for all those. There are quotations, there are comments. When we get to text formatting, you're going to see all of those. You can put bullet points. You can even create a list with HTML, right? So I'm going to start with explaining how to use headers and paragraphs and some very basic tags that we're going to work with almost every day, right? Then maybe I'll share a material where we can get familiar with all the other tags that are included in the HTML language, right? So I'm just going to open this document in my browser. Yeah, so it's empty for now. So let's start. Let's play around with the H1, the head tags, right? So these are called heading tags in HTML, right? If you want to kind of create titles or subheadings or kind of like get attention, you use the heading tags. I'm going to go into other types of tags, but let's start with the heading tags. I'm just going to go into my code editor. If you remember, I said if you want anything to display in the web page, you have to put it in the body tag. So I'm just going to like kind of put out all the heading tags we have. So you see an example of what I'm talking about. Or let me just use one. This is a header. So if I save this, it refreshes, and I'm going to see this is a header. So just remember, this is basic, super basic stuff. Maybe when we get further and understand all the tags, we'll understand how to like maybe use a layout to style our page. So this is just basic stuff, right? So like I was saying, the HTML language provides us with so many tags to kind of lay out our web page however we want. Let me just kind of put out all the H1 tags we have so you can see the options and maybe we'll play with them. 2, there's a H2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right? So these are all the heading tags we have, right? So it's just like gives you options in case you want to use a smaller header, a bigger header. H1 meaning, which is H1, it's the highest, like the biggest, while H6 is the smallest. So if I go to my browser now and refresh, yeah, it auto kicks in. So this is just like this is a H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. So these are just ways to kind of like maybe define header, or maybe you're building a web page and you want to create a section and the title of the section is maybe something. You can just use a header to segment it, right? So that's just one of the major tags. I'm going to talk about the paragraph next. And I think I'm just going to talk about 3 or 4 tags. It's quite explanatory. Then maybe I'll kind of open up. Let's see. Let some other persons try it, right? So I'm going to do paragraph tag now. Remember, it's opening, content, and closing tag. So the paragraph tag is just like it's a tag for sentences, right? So again, you have to get the idea. If I just paste in text, let me go generate a random text. Just give me 1 moment. I just need to get random text. So we'll see the need for tags and layout. So if I just paste in bunch of text, or maybe I'm building a web page or I'm building a website, and I don't use tags to like segment it or kind of tell the web browser how I want this or how I want this to look, and I just paste this here. I hope it's formats. Yeah, I paste it, save, and I paste random text. Maybe I'm trying to create a blog. I save this. Guess what's going to happen? Because you did not tell the browser how to format it, it's just going to verbatimly pour it on the web page, right? So this doesn't look good. That's why we have tags to kind of arrange how our markup is going to look, right? How it's going to be segmented, what goes to where, what is a header, what is a paragraph, and stuff like that. So pouring out text on the web page or in your code, in your HTML document without like using tags is just going to make the formatting look messy. So, but if I put that in a paragraph tag, and let's say, okay, maybe I'm creating a document, I would just say, this is welcome to Blackforce. Maybe I want to create a blog post, so I'm just trying to create a dummy sample of a blog post. Yeah, and I put this very long text in a P tag. So this P tag stands for paragraph. So it's just like you're creating a block or a paragraph in a sentence. So if I refresh this, though there's no styling, but it's a little bit formatted now. I can go deeper using CSS to style the segmented, but we've not gotten to that yet. But here's the thing, right? If I put another section of this, it's going to like kind of format it a little bit cleaner than what we had before, because we are kind of telling the browser that, hey, these are in P tags, so you just have to create them in on new lines. Again, we're going to get to that, but what you need to know is all they are what we call block level elements and inline elements. We're going to get to that, but I want to focus on tags today, right? So I've played around with heading, I've played around with paragraph. There are so many tags, and we have to get used to the basic ones so we could kind of have a smooth training, right? So I played around with two tags. There's a break tag. So the idea is just to know that the HTML language feature has commands or markup for anything you can think of in formatting text or creating a web page and all. So this is a break tag. I'm going to just try it to show you what it means. So if you see this paragraph is just a very long document of text. So in the case where you want to kind of put a line break, I can come here and say, Laura Miss from simply dummy text. I can put a break here, right? Of printing typing industry. I can put another break here. It's going to go on new line. This tag means break, put a break. So if I go to the web page, you see it creates new line. So again, you just know elements or tags. Tags help you format your document well and like kind of gives you flexibility with your layout and all. So I'm just going to play around with two more tags because I won't really want to go into the hundreds and maybe 50s. I think there are so many HTML tags. I'm going to open up a reference soon. I'll just go over the 2 or 3 basic ones we have. Then I'm going to kind of open up like the floor to confirm everyone can do basically what I've just done.Maybe open up a file, generate the boilerplate and type in some stuff and it displays on the web page, right? So some other important tags I've talked about headings. Yeah, so these are just the 6 blocks or 6 level of heading, right? H1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've talked about paragraph. So paragraph are just a way to kind of segment or like kind of block different sentences. We can also style this, right? So since I like kind of talked about CSS a little bit, let me just kind of talk about this a little bit, but we are not going into styling, right? So you can add styling to your HTML. Excuse me, you can add styling to your HTML. There are different ways to maybe add styling to your HTML, but you can maybe styling by using an attribute, but we are definitely not going to go into that today. Color I can use gray, and if I check, it's going to be great. Like let me use red so it to be or green. so it be visible, right? So you can add style to, these are all tags and attributes, but we're not going to go into that today. So let me just go over the other two important tags, or two or three important tags I wanted to go over. So okay, there are tables, there are lists. I won't want you to go into. Let's look at formatting, right? So I said tags just help you like kind of format your text very well. So these are other helpers, other tags that help you kind of create whatever you want or however you want your layout to look. So if you want to bold the text, there's a tag for that. If you want to make a text strong, like important, standard, there's a tag for it. Italics, or maybe you want to kind of emphasize on the text. These are all, I'm just going to try bold. Let me see, let me bold in all this now. Let's see, I'm just going to do this. So if I check my web page, this section should be bolded. So again, HTML tags just helps you kind of gives you flexibility in your layouts, your formatting, and how you display your text. You can create lists. You can underline a text. You can make a text smaller. So there are just a whole lot of things you can do with text and like with tags. But I'm going to give a reference for all the tags there is, but I'm just going to kind of see if we understand what I've talked about. But before I open up for to check if everyone can do what I've just done, open up a HTML document on their browser from VS Code. I'm just going to talk about something, right? So there are what we call block level elements and inline elements, right? So a bunch of HTML tags are block level elements. If I go back to the code and I look at this, you see that even if I take this, I think my code editor will always format it to come on a new line. Even if I take this and put it like directly after this, like I don't want a space between the two of them. I want it to be together. Let me see. My editor will still format it, but let's try. Yeah, so even if I don't have a line break, I just wanted it to be together. The browser will always put a new line after every block level element. So block level elements always continue on a new line, but they are what we call inline elements, right? So if I put one inline element, I can put one inline element in here and it's just going to continue on the same line. So let's try with an A tag. This is another HTML element inside another HTML element. We call this nesting elements, right? So I'm just going to open up my browser and don't need to refresh. You see it's still inside. So I just wanted to make a point clear. HTML elements are block level elements, right? So when you put in any element, it's going to start the next text or element on a new line, but there are some HTML tags or HTML elements that are inline elements. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of open up the floor. I want to confirm. So this is not supposed to be more of a theoretical class. I want to confirm that everyone has installed VS Code from yesterday. I want to believe everyone has installed VS Code and we can comfortably open up a file and write at least one line of code in the file. So I'm just going to ask, so I'm just going to kind of ask everyone to raise up their hand. So I'll call accordingly. So if you have VS Code installed, I think we can use the chat for that. Let me open up my chat. If you have VS Code installed, or if you've not installed VS Code, or if you didn't join us yesterday, just say something in the chat. If you don't have VS Code installed, just drop a hi in the chat. Okay, so a couple of persons were not here yesterday. So I think what you're going to do is to just watch the videos. Towards the end of this class, I'm going to try to see how to use 5-10 minutes to walk you guys through how you can install the code editor. Right, cool. So I think just 3 or 4 persons, right? So I want to confirm, I don't know how we're going to do, right? I want to confirm that we all here understand what we've gone through, and maybe you've tried earlier today creating a document or HTML document, populating it on the web page, opening it in the web page, and you can at least write basic HTML syntax in it. You can drop a text in the chat. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead. Yes. So I'm just going to go ahead. So I think what we're going to do most of the practical work in the tutorial sections, right? I think the tutorial sections will be very open for everyone to kind of share their screen and all that. So I will just go ahead and continue. Then maybe after 10 more minutes, I'm going to open up, like, unmute some persons to speak and ask questions. Or if you have any questions, just raise your hand. If you have any question, can you raise your hand before we move forward? Yeah, I think let's do that now. Ola, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Yeah, I was the one that talked yesterday about my VS Code disappearing. I've not really been able to do anything on the. It's not because I don't have access to it. My VS Code is working right now because I pinned it up, or I've not really tried anything yet. So that's what I've done.
We're going to fix that in the tutorial section. I want to take questions regarding what we have, like what we've done today. So in Gito, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Okay, good evening. I want to ask, is there any particular way to differentiate between inline and block tags?
Okay, so you have to know them, right? There's no like kind of a manual to say these are inline elements or these are block level elements. You just have to, maybe with practice, experience, if I put in a P tag, it always breaks to a new line. If I put a paragraph tag, but one thing you should know, all the formatting tags, all the formatting tags, the bold, strong, all these little ones, are always inline elements, right? They will never create a new line. So I want to mark a text, like it's going to like kind of strike through it. I want to do like this deal, like it's also going to strike through a text. So all these are inline elements. So I think with practice and with constant usage, you should know which is an inline element and which is it's a block level element. I think there's a reference, and those references always kind of those references always kind of tells you which is block level or inline elements, right? So you can see that I'm going to share this link later, but majorly with practice, which are block level elements and which are inline elements, but you need to play with them over and over and over again to be comfortable, to be familiar with them. Is that okay? Yeah. Joy-Ann, you can unmute yourself and ask a question.
Okay, hi, Sammy. When you talked of H1, H2, the sizes or the way our fonts are now displayed, formats are now displayed on the browser, is that the same thing with the P tags and all? Are they numbered like that too? Nothing like P2?
No. H tags are just headings, right? So you can want to have different sizes of headings.
Sizes, okay.
Yeah, so that's why H tags have different levels, but paragraphs are just, P tags are just one type of. I think it's just H tag that has the 1 to 6 levels. So other tags are just one.
Okay, then I saw, was it a P tag, or I saw somewhere that says, see the P tag. One tag doesn't necessarily have to, does every tag, every code must have a beginning tag and an end tag, Abby. So
yeah.
Then I saw one tag that they said must not have an end tag. Is it the same P or?
Okay, so every tag, like it's always advised to close tags, right? Every tag must have an opening tag and a closing tag. Well, they are what we call self-closing tags, right? So if you see the break I used here, if you notice it didn't have an opening tag, I just wrote it and closed it inside itself. We call this type of tags in HTML self-closing tags. So other tags, the P tag can't do this because it needs content in it. This is a full element. The H tags needs content in it, but there are some tags that just kind of do stuff out of the box, was like break to create a new line. There's no content in it, so there's no need to do, let's say, this closing this, this, right? So we just want a new line, so you can self-close some tags and it will still work. So like how there are block level elements and inline elements, there are also tags that are self-closing tags. Joy, did I answer your question?
Yes, sort of. Then I'm trying to do something on my own visual code though. You said we should just write anything, Abby? Try and write anything also and display it, view it in a browser and see how it comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think we're going to focus more on that because we obviously don't have enough time to ask everyone to share their screen. We're going to focus more on that when we start our tutorial section. So yeah. Okay. Obeyemi, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Hi, Sami. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes. So, is that a space between the self-closing tag and the line break? There's always a space there, right?
Yeah. Is this what you're talking about?
Yes. Is there always a space there?
Yeah, it's for formatting and readability, right? So
okay,
if I put it, it's still going to work, but it's okay. My extension is already trying to auto format it for me, but it's still going to work.
Okay. So, so second question: are we saying the paragraph and line break perform the same functions?
Can you come again?
If I understand clearly, the paragraph and line break, do they perform the same question?
The same
function. Sorry. The same function.
They are all tags, right? But they don't perform the same function, right? What this break tag does, it creates a new line. If I replicate this and put it 10 times, it's going to create 10 new lines. Let me just show you. And I save. If I go back to the browser and go, can you see the space?
Okay.
It's always going to create a new line. But paragraph just kind of segments a text and you can add formatting to it. When we get to styling, you see the importance of using tags.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I think no other person has any question. So I'll just kind of go ahead and continue. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so let me just go ahead and continue, then maybe take another round of questions towards the end. Yeah, so I've talked about elements, I've talked about tags. Maybe later on, we're going to kind of play around with everything to see how it relates. So I really want to go deeper into tags. Let me see if I can pick another very important tag before I move to attributes, right? Yeah, so I talked about lists. Like for example, you're creating a web page, you want to list out items. You can create bullet point lists. You can start to use asterisks. You can use ordered lists and unordered lists. So I'm just going to play around with this. Let me just copy this and paste in my code. This is how these are list tags, right? So again, the idea is HTML has tags to kind of allow you play around, or not really play around, display your web page however you want to do it. So if I save this and go to our web page, you should see a list. And I didn't create this list myself in the code, right? I didn't like kind of put in full stops, but these are just that everything can be done with tags. You can create any type of formatting with tags. So I can change this to let's say alphabetic numbers. Yeah, it's going to change to 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's nicely formatted. So I can say list of shopping list or something. and just like an example, just create a listing item. So again, to get familiar with all this and how you can maybe know them, you have to kind of go through the tag reference and play around. You have to play around with all the tags yourself, so you kind of get familiar with them. But just know that we use tags and elements to kind of create structure and layout in our web page. When we get to styling, you see how it's going to look more beautiful. But this is where HTML is important, right? Even if you start writing Java, Apex, or any Salesforce development like Lightning, you need to understand HTML. You need to understand markup. It looks very basic, right? But you definitely meet it everywhere. So I'm going to share a reference for all the tags that has all the tags later. Okay, I'll just drop it in the chat. So you can go over it later in your spare time. Then I'll move to attributes now and how attribute relates to HTML tags. Okay, so we've talked about tags. I'm just going to use these tags, little examples of tags I've talked about to explain attributes, right? So all HTML elements can have attributes. By attributes, we mean like additional detail. Let me just go back to what I had, the example I had before. Let's delete this and delete this. Yeah, so we have attributes. We have what we call attributes in HTML, right? So HTML attributes are super important, and they help provide additional information about our elements, right? So attributes are always specified in start tag, blah, blah, blah. So basically what attributes does is, right, in a real web page, let me go to salesforce.com. In a real web page, when your web page maybe gets maybe complex, or you're building a real life application, right? So this text is different from this text. This button is different from this button. These navigations are all different, and maybe they have different styling. Yeah, these are all sections. I know you might not be able to see them, but because I know I can see them. So what attribute does is it just helps us kind of identify different HTML tags in on the web page, right? So I can add a color to this text alone, right? I can give this an attribute of, let me say, I can give this a class of first paragraph. And even though I copy the same text and put on the same web page and change this to second paragraph, these are now two different instances of the same word. So attribute just kind of gives us ability to kind of like add additional data to an HTML element. So it has to be in the start tag. So maybe when we start getting super complex, we can add a style attribute of border 1 pixel solid red. We can add an ID of black force. Okay, so if I go here, yeah, you can see this is the same text, but I just performed some other extra stuff on this particular one. So you can just see ID. So you can see attributes as a way to add additional information to particular elements and kind of apply styling and other additional features on elements. So we're going to go for that. Then you see attributes in at work, right? So I'm going to pick up the A tag. Again, I said HTML tag, and HTML has any type of tag you want. So if you want to create a link tag or a hyperlink on a web page, like if I go to this document now, this is a link tag. If I click on this, even if it's on a document, it's going to open up a web page in another tab. You can do that from your HTML documents, and we call them anchor tags. So again, you just go over the tag reference to kind of see all the tags there is. So we have the anchor tag, and in the start tag, there's an attribute. Okay, without the attributes, the anchor tags will not work. If I save this and go to our dummy document, you see a visit W3 schools. You won't see the URL we have here. The only text you see is what's in the content area of the tag. So you just see attributes as a way to add additional information. I can add another attribute here. I can say targets blank, right? So this should open up in a new tab, hopefully. Yeah. So attributes are just ways to add additional information to targets. Yeah. So attributes are just ways to add additional data to your HTML elements. I won't want to go further again. I'm going to just try to stick with what I've done here and see if everyone understands, but I'm going to rephrase again, right? So HTML documents are just text documents with markup, right? With markup to kind of layout or tell the browser how to lay out your website, right? We went through what each tag here means, and I made it clear yesterday that the only thing that gets displayed on the web page is what's in the body tag. So this is like telling the browser, hey, only show this to the user, what's in the body tag. Then to display and lay out your web page, you need HTML elements and tags. An element is the full content, the opening tag, the closing tag, and the content. While HTML tags are just like kind of little commands that helps us to format and style, like that helps us format, style, and maybe give cool layouts to whatever content or however I want to display our content. So it might not be so fun, it might not be style colorish, but believe me, if you skip getting like the foundation of like understanding how tags relate, how to nest tags, I can put in other tags in here, how to nest tags, how to go around tags. We can create tables with HTML. We're going to get that. We can create iframes. So, but the basic idea is, if you don't want to struggle, if you want to kind of be comfortable going forward, whatever you do, right, JavaScript, anywhere, you need to understand markup, right? So I'll really advise, I dropped the link of like a reference to all the HTML tags. Can you guys hear me? Rosemary, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I thought I saw in the chat that someone can't hear me. Yeah. So again, you can go over the link I dropped, and you see and play around with odd bits with tags and just get comfortable with them. While then maybe when we get to our tutorial sections, we can kind of go deeper into letting people share their screen and kind of debugging for them. So I'll just talk about these two. These are the two tags I was looking for back then. The other two important basic tags that you need to know, right? And while building a web page, right? HTML is a hypertext markup language, right? You need to understand links and images. I've only talked about text, but you can embed images, you can embed videos and all in your web page. So I'm just going to copy this. This is the tag for image. So remember I said it's tricky, right? Some persons might be thinking now, so I have to like kind of be familiar with 100 tags. So you don't have to cram them or maybe have them off the top of your head. You just have to know they exist, right? So this is how you embed images in web pages. So if I go back and put this, I have to have this image, right? So let me just do something. Just give me a moment because we have to reference the image. I'm going to explain why. Okay, I think I've closed. Okay, yeah, this is what I was looking for. So this is an image tag. This is how you embed images. There's an audio tag. This is how you embed audio. There's a video tag, but we're not going to like kind of get into that at all. I'll just explain videos. I'll just explain images and tags and links. So if you want to embed an image into a web page, right? So it's the syntax is image, just image, right? This is one of the self-closing tags, just image, but you need to provide an attribute called source. So what goes into this source is the URL of the image, or the URL or the image you're trying to read. So we're going to also get into this later. I can have an image here, like I can have the image in my file system and just reference it by typing the name of the image, or I can paste in an image hosted on the internet. So what this source will do, if the image is in your file system, local file system, it will get it for you. If it's hosted on the internet, it's going to also get it for you. Again, I'm just going to go to save this and go to the web browser, and I should see that image displayed in our dummy HTML document, right? So again, this is an anchor tag. If you want to put a link, or like if you want to reference maybe another website from your website, you use an A tag. It's called an anchor tag, but it has an attribute called a href to put in the URL. But when it comes to images, it's both of them are self-closing tags. But when it comes to images, you have to identify, kind of assign a source. And when you're using source, but you don't have to worry about this right now. I want everyone to get comfortable with tags and maybe know some basic tags. When it gets to source, you can use a remotely hosted image or URL, or you can have the image saved in your file system. We're going to get into that later, maybe in JavaScript or other complex stuff. Again, basically, you just have to get comfortable with tags and have more practice with it, and maybe go through the tag reference I dropped. Let me see if I'm missing something important. Right, okay. These are style attributes, right? Remember I told you attributes are just a way to maybe kind of add additional information to your tags or maybe segment of your web page. We also have the width and height. I'm sure most of you might be saying, okay, these are too much, right? So we also have the width and height attributes. So if I've pasted this image, I can go to the image, what's it called? The image tag, and add a width. Let me see, 50%. Let me save, and yeah, it was already 50%. Let me do 50 pixels. Yeah, so see, it got smaller. So these are style attributes, right? Width and height. Width and height are style attributes. You're going to get familiar with them. They are for styling. Yes, I changed the width, I changed the height. But if I take them off, the original size of the image is going to come back. So you see, so you just have to get familiar with tags. I advise you maybe kind of play around with it daily, because I think how I learned mine, I played around with creating documents, just playing around with tags, refreshing the page I have open, play around with tags and see what each tag does, right? So I think this covers the basic tags I wanted to talk about. The P tag, image, anchor tags, and the heading tag, right? There are so many other HTML tags that you just need to get familiar with. But these are, if you're going to be doing daily work with HTML and CSS, these are the tags you're going to be seeing or like kind of using daily. And when we get to maybe layouts, I'll like kind of talk about the section, div, like there are a couple of them now. So these are all used to kind of segment your web page. Maybe you create a site, like if you want to create a blog, you create a sidebar. You can use this to create a sidebar. You can use this for navigation. This should be up, sorry. You can use this for navigation. You can use this to create a sidebar, so stuff like that. But again, if you can play around with these 5, I think that's why I kind of started with them. 1, 2, 3, 4. There should be one more. If you play around with these 4 or 5, I think you'll find the other ones a little bit easier to grasp. So I think I'm just going to kind of open up the floor again to see if some persons are confused about anything and take some questions. Okay, so just kindly raise up your hands if you need to ask or if you need clarification on anything. So Joy Ann, you can unmute and ask a question.
Hi, Sammy. Hi, it seems a bit complex, so plenty tags and plenty everything. Okay.
You need to unlock your iPhone first.
Please, what's that? What's meta here at this top where there's number 4 on your screen? The tag, like tag meta. I don't quite understand. Yeah, that place. Is it a tag underhead, like opening a tag, writing meta?
Yeah. Okay, did you attend our yesterday's session?
I did.
Okay, so basically, I explained that everything in the head, right? Everything in this head section, it's for the browser. Okay, so meta just means metadata, right? It's the full is metadata, right? Additional information or metadata, like in coding we call metadata additional information, right? So if you can see this little can you see this little dialogue from my code editor?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
okay,
this like metadata, the meta element represent various kinds of metadata. It's just like explanation to the web browser. So what this says is, hey, okay, this is metadata character set. This just say the character set you're going to use. This is a bit complex. It's computer science stuff. UTF encoding 8. So if you know about computer science, you should know like character set and how to display characters. So this is trying to tell the browser to handle Internet Explorer. This is if you see IE Edge. This is just for IE Edge. Then this is for, we call it responsiveness, right? So it's going to tell the browser, hey, I want to target mobile users first. So whatever you're doing, when this page loads, have in mind that it might be because, of course, right now, right, we have more mobile users than like more mobile website users, right? So it's always good to just like set a viewport. But the thing is, everything in this head tag is for the browser to kind of use to tell the browser how to display everything here. Okay. So you should be focused on maybe learning or getting familiar with your tags. You won't have problem with any of this now until maybe when you start deploying on the web.
Okay.
Yeah. Ola, you still have your hands up. Was it from the last time? We have 2 Olas again. Okay, Ola, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Yeah, we have 2 Olas. One has a yellow hand, one has a brown hand. So I will try and see how I can change my name. It's kind of frustrating. Yeah, okay. Because I've been trying to tell you I have a question in the chat. I thought somebody was looking at the chat. Nobody was looking at the chat. So
I just attended to an Ola the last time. So again,
yeah, I know. But I was really after him, so you just passed over it and went to the next person. It's okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. But I was tapping on the chat and nobody was responding to the chat. You know.
Okay, so
I wanted to say that I know you copied it. You copied a text from one of the documents you're using yesterday, and you pasted on this VS dashboard. I tried that and it works. I tried to look at it on the web page and it works. But I know that while I was doing that, I wanted to do undo. Can you show me where you can do undo on this screen? If you type something wrongly and you want to undo it, maybe you paste something and you want to undo.
Yeah, so basically the easiest way to undo is from your keyboard, right? Control Z or Command Z. But you can maybe, are you on a Windows or a Mac?
Windows.
Yeah, so you should have this on your title bar on Windows. You see a file, edit, selection. So you can go to edit, you see undo there.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
But basically, the easiest way, just the same way you use your Word document, you just Control Z. It works anywhere.
Okay. That sounds good. That sounds good. Yeah. And another thing is, I was trying to ask that most of these tags, right? Yeah. How do we get to, is it by practicing that we get to know?
Exactly. That's the word.
Tag, the body tag, the paragraph tag, the image tag, and all those additional information you have to put in here, like href and src source and all that. Is it saying that we get to know it, because the way you are doing it, I feel you came with it from heaven.
Nobody came with it from heaven, right? So it's just I don't think there's any day that goes by where I don't use any of this stuff. So you just have to do it over and over and over again, right? So you just kind of get familiar with it, and it's just practice, right? Just use it and use it and use it.
Okay, but another question Joy asked the other time when she was talking about the meta. That meta, is it something that we have to memorize that to be able
No, you don't need to memorize it. So why we advise use, or why we use tools, right? So there are stuff that you have to do every day, but that can be automated, right? So the reason we say you should download VS Code, it's, I don't know if you have it installed, but I think in the tutorial session.
That's why I was able to, yeah.
Sorry?
I have it installed. That's why I was able to test what you did yesterday.
Yeah, so you shouldn't worry yourself about those meta, because it's something you always have to put on every HTML document. So your VS Code has a shortcut to auto-populate it for you. So if I just type in HTML5 and click on enter, it's going to generate the boilerplate for me. Most times you don't even need to be writing the HTML body. You just need to focus on what's inside your body tag. So it's auto-generated the whole meta data. Yeah. Honestly, I don't even have this whole stuff correctly off the top of my head. I just auto-generate it. But what I have off the top of my head are the tags I use daily, right? So you don't need to worry about, you guys should not worry about, you should just be worried about the 5 tags we talked about today and the 4 tags.
Okay, that sounds good. Please.
Okay. So, Kenneth, you can unmute and speak.
Hi, Sammy. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you for your effort. Actually, I came in a bit late to the class today, right? Okay. So I've been having issues with this VS Code. I installed it on the Windows. I don't know. I just bought a Windows computer, so I don't know if it has the problem of installing all this Python and all that. So I find it hard to continue with where we stopped yesterday, just to try and as much as possible. But I came in a bit late to the class today. So I don't know, maybe on the tutorial, I might be able to, because it's the way it's going, I'm transitioning to this tech. So I'm just a little bit of a art student. So, but I'm transitioning, right? So it's kind of a bit challenging for me. You know what I mean? So I don't know how we can help on that.
So, okay, to address that, these classes are just kind of like a high overview. When we get to the tutorial classes, that is going to be in depth, quite in depth. So I'll get to kind of ask you to share your screen, and I'll help you solve your VS Code issue, or any other person that's having some other issue that we just need to share. So we're going to do all those in the tutorial sections, right? So we don't have much time to kind of give that kind of attention on this course, right? So you can send me a message if you can send me a message, or you just wait till one of our tutorial sessions. Okay, so
thank you.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome. So let me just Ola, you can speak. Ola,
Thank you. I thought you would forget again. So I just want to ask about the structure between this class and the tutorial. How is it structured? So we get prepared for it.
Between what?
Between this class, you said this is an overview of the tutorial.
Yeah, so tutorials are from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think they are 2 hours or over 2 hours. So, but the time will be communicated to you depending on who is going to take the class. So the time will be communicated with you.
How about the ones during the weekday, the 1 hour during the weekdays?
Sorry?
There are some 1 hour classes during the weekdays. Does that include this HTML and CSS class?
Okay, I don't understand the question you're asking, but maybe we could do it outside this call. But just a brief overview, like the 1 hour classes are like for the HTML, like there's a HTML and CSS class, there's a Salesforce admin class by 8. So the 1 hour classes are just for what I've just done here, right? To teach HTML and CSS. But if we want to kind of like include everyone to get deep into helping everyone code on their own PC or Mac, we'll have to do that in tutorial session because we have more time there. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Priestley, you can unmute yourself and speak. Hello, Priestley. Hello, Rosemary, please, can you hear me? Please, if you can hear me, just drop a hi in the chat. Let me know if. Okay, thanks. So Priestley is not speaking. Yeah. So I guess thanks. So I guess those are all the persons that have questions for now. So what I'm just going to kind of advise is I'm going to drop a couple of links like as references in the chat. So you should just go through it and to get more overview, right? So there's not much we can go through in the classes and the tutorials, but if you read through and practice on your own, you're going to kind of. Okay, Presley says he or she's having issues with their Mac. So if you read through on your own, you're going to have more hand or more edge over your mate. So you're going to drop 3 links. I already dropped one, but I'll drop it again. Okay, yeah. So just to confirm again, the tutorial sections are for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So any other person has any questions? Okay. Firstly, you still can't speak. Okay, the first link. Let me paste it properly. I think I didn't paste it properly. You can try it now. This should work. So Priscilla, I'm going to have to meet you back. Yeah. Okay, Joanne, you can speak.
Please, are recordings available now? And how do we access them? Like that of yesterday, today? Are they available?
Yeah, so I think recordings have been uploaded. You can access yesterday's classes now. But again, moving forward, classes or recordings will only be uploaded like after 12. It takes a little bit of time to process and upload the video. So they're going to upload it like 12 hours after the actual section. So you should see this class tomorrow before 12.
Okay, we are going to get them on the way, like my learning, or I think Batope said he will explain that today.
If you join this from my learning, you see it on if you join this from training schedule, you see it there, but you as a subscribed member, you also get to see it on your my learning platform. So you should be there.
Now my learning displays like blackforce.ca where you see programs and everything.
Yeah, just that you have my learning, like you have an option, my learning, to see videos, like videos of programs you're subscribed.
Oh, okay.
To. That's just the difference, yeah.
Okay.
Priestley, can you speak now before we end the call? Okay, I still can't hear Priestley. So I think that's all. We'll be having another session tomorrow. So just go over the resources I dropped. It will just help you kind of put everything together, and we'll meet again tomorrow. yeah, so thanks everyone. Rosemary, please you can stop sharing.